Hello everyone and welcome back. My name is Matt Letcher and today we're going to continue the Pillars of Eternity Let's Play series. So in the last episode we've managed to deactivate the tower in Heritage Hill that kept the souls prisoner. And we were summoned by Lady Webb, which we are visiting right now. Let's talk to Curran if he has something to say about that.
Good day to you.
No, he does not. So, where is Lady Webb exactly? Probably somewhere upstairs. I mean, this is the Hardwood house, right? Yep, it is. Lady Webb will see you now. Okay. Let's talk to her then. This woman clutches a thick staff of parchment with spindly, wrinkled fingers, their flesh stretched thin to near translucence with extreme age, a gossamer veil over pale blue veins. Ink splotches and candle burns dot and stripe her hand like a quilt patterned after some great indescribable truth. She does not look up from her reading.
So, the messenger conveyed my summons. A miracle that would make the reincarnation of Aothis look like a child's cantrip, surely. It doesn't draw the most inspired minds, messaging. They failed me so many times of late, I nearly sent a cipher after you instead. So this is the Watcher who took over Cad Noir. Oh, don't look so surprised. It isn't an attractive expression. I wouldn't be where I am for long if I let details like that escape me.
Details, huh? It seems none of Rose spires live up to their reputation.
Since then, as I understand it, you entered a quarantine district that is absolutely off-limits to all civilians, and somehow managed to walk back out with your life. What could possibly have been on your mind to make you do such a thing?
I'm investigating a strange group.
Strange does not begin to describe them. The practices of the Leaden Key defy all reason.
So she knows them. Interesting.
You're not the only one with an interest in their recent activities. I've lost 4 ciphers this year alone trying to get someone inside their ranks. As it is, we only have our suspicions about who is in the group and what they intend, which I suppose means we have much in common with them. I asked you here because I wanted to know what your interest was in all of this. I thought perhaps we might help each other. Why are you looking for the Leaden Key?
I ran across a man in one of the ruins. It's important that I find him again. She closes her eyes and the lids flicker, then her face goes still and her mouth parts, little more than a sliver, and her hands briefly drop open, spilling some of her parchment to the ground. The pages wafting around her legs like the leaves of a dying tree. Her fleshy eyelids peel back and her gaze is immediately upon you.
The gods are cruel, I'm afraid. The man you seek is Theos Ix Arcanon, Grand Master of the Leaden Key. One of the most elusive and dangerous men Aora has ever known.
How do you know I seek him? Probably cipher stuff.
Because you have seen his face, and that makes it a simple matter for me to see it. You even happened to catch him in his ceremonial garb, it seems. It must have been a special occasion.
That it surely was. What can you tell me about Theos?
More than most, though very few would know so much as his name. And there is no way of knowing how much of what I've read is true. The Leaden Key dates back more than 2,000 years. If rumors are to be believed, Theos was the one who created it.
Holy shit, that dude is old.
What scraps of evidence exist suggest that he has died many times, only to be reborn each time exactly the same man, awakened during adolescence with all the knowledge and experience of all his lifetimes. The plots he orchestrates sometimes take hundreds of years to bear fruit. Needless to say, this is not the natural order of things, but he is said to be one of Woodica's favored, and that old bat was never one to let rules get in the way of favoritism.
Okay. That's an interesting idea on how this works.
That may also explain another supposed gift of his. His body is no boundary to his soul, and he is known to take possession of others, if their souls are weak enough. Often it is for elaborate deceptions, but sometimes he simply forces them to kill themselves. He is not known for his generous supply of pity.
I already don't like him.
He is also not one to show himself in any but their most critical matters. If he has directly involved himself in whatever the group plots now, it may be your only chance to find him. And once you do find him, if you can find him, I would not hold my hopes too high if I were you. He is a driven, single-minded man. He will not have the slightest concern for your problems.
Very interesting. So how do you know so much about Theos?
The same way I come by all my knowledge. Exhaustive research, spying, bribery,
At least she's
perhaps
honest.
some less savory measures. Whatever the knowledge demands, I pay in full. There is nothing of greater value. Unfortunately, with Theos, there is also nothing more scarce. He has covered his tracks far too well. His manipulations of the course of history are lost to time now, though I believe they were many.
What else is there to know about the Latin key?
Precious little, I'm afraid. You may know much of it already. No one member knows the identity of more than a handful of other members. They are kept in the dark of missions they are not involved in, or sometimes of those they are involved in. They exist to hide secrets they themselves don't know, if you can imagine how gullible someone must be for that to appeal. Despite that, they are very good at what they do, owing much to their founder, who will take matters into his own hands when necessary, and he does not fail.
Okay, so what do you want from me then?
Keep me informed. The leaden key has been busy lately, and that is distressing news. I can only guess as to what they intend. You seem to have a knack for turning the stones they've crawled beneath. Keep turning them. Dunreed Row will not stop you. Whatever it is they're up to, figuring it out will be of great use to both of us. In your case, it will surely point you to Theos. In return, I will share our knowledge with you as we learn it, and provide you with what assistance I can.
Seems like actually a pretty good deal. I give them some information and they help me. They are a massive spy organization from what I see, at least within the city and the surroundings. So yeah, very well.
If you find your trail has run cold, come to me with whatever you have. There is much I may be able to do for you.
Well then, right away, there's something I can tell you about their operations.
Well, let's hear it.
The Witham Tower in Heritage Hill contains an ancient machine that can control the flow of souls. The Latin key activated it.
This is troubling. That civilization seems to have known more about the mechanics of souls than anyone since. The leaden key was born in that period. It may be that Theos has full knowledge of their technology. The applications of this machine you speak of, I don't want to think about it. If we can learn more about their goals and methods, perhaps we can get the palace behind us. With Avar's support, we may be able to put a stop to this.
Okay, that is all. Other questions?
Yes?
How old are you? She gives a halt-hearted gasp and covers her mouth with her crumpled fingers. You wicked man! Where are your manners? Were you raised without a shred of decency?
I lost count ages ago. Such a strange thing to celebrate, getting closer to death. Oh, I've had my share of work done to prolong my existence, if that's what you're wondering. I'm not ashamed of it. I'm not done here. There are things I still wish to learn. And I'll be the effigy if I let Berith carry me off before I'm through. There was a time when I considered enlisting the theorems of Pondgrum to extend my life indefinitely. I found the thought of devouring my political enemies to sustain my own life greatly appealing. I must have gone soft with age.
Hey, are you psychic?
If you are hoping I can look at your hand and tell you whom you should marry, you can just wipe that notion from your mind. I do not know what will happen tomorrow. That is what I pay spies for. Being a cipher is not unlike being a watcher. You notice more about what is already there. Many can hold an object and know where it's been, or peer into the thoughts of people around them. They can also sometimes affect those thoughts, but that would be unethical, of course. A tiny, talented few pick up so much about the world around them, they can get images of things to come, but these are fleeting and unreliable.
Okay, so you said you don't know what will happen tomorrow.
Who said I was talented? I don't. Least not that I can trust. And with me, it's only ever about one thing anyway.
And what's that?
A quiet day at home.
Okay. So tell me more about Dunreed Row.
All the things there are to know in this world, and you ask me about work. Deerwood is a rebel country. Conflict is in its blood. If you think a few guards posted in our cities keep chaos at bay, you are very new to town indeed. We are Deerwood's cipher investigators, of course. But what we really are is its last barrier against anarchy. People are more at ease when they believe they are watched over by someone more enlightened than they are. It pacifies them. So that is the image we foster. And we do try to be enlightened for their sake. The knowledge we gather here is Deerwood's standing army in many ways. We learn what's vital and we act on it while Deerwood sleeps, blissfully unaware of the terrifying truths all around them. I wish I could tell people the things I know sometimes, but the truth is I don't think many of them could bear it.
Interesting. So how did you come to be here?
Me? I started this place, in a different time, under a different duke. I impressed the Duke with my research and my work ethic, and he became possessed of the notion that I would be ideal to lead a secret network of gifted investigators. I don't know how such an idea got into his head.
She winks at that, so yeah, we do know. Okay, so yeah.
Try your best not to die out there.
I shall. Actually, this organization reminds me very fondly of the Eberron campaign setting for Dungeons & Dragons. There was a nation by gnomes, Silargo, and they don't have a standing army or police force. They instead have the Trust, which is basically the NSA and the FBI and the CIA mixed into one big bag. They remind me a little of those guys here. Essentially, if you act against the country, you get one warning, and then the next time you might just never wake up again. Okay, so let's see if Kern has some quests for us now.
Good day, stranger.
It looks as though you could use some help. So many secrets and trails in this city, you have to but turn a corner to find a fresh trace of something stolen or something missing. He flicks near. Unfortunately, we haven't the time to investigate them all. I'm supposed to be working on other matters, but my mind still lingers on a few recent cases. Curse of a cipher to be ruled by the whims of curiosity. Why can't you look into those cases? He pins his ears back. A matter of priorities, says Lady Webb. Many problems in Defiance Bay these days, problems with more than a few missing persons at stake. Okay, I'll look into it. Where should I start? Zagani bounds on the balls of her feet, just like one of those Valian whodunits. Read a few of those on the road, helps pass the time. Okay, so apparently some stories? He grins, razor-tipped teeth showing beneath his lips. Copperlane, Andra's gift, and Brackenbury, of course. Go talk to the ones who reported these disappearances. The only ones who know enough to care. Laura, Oli, and Elka. Okay, so who's missing? 2 men, 1 woman. Landry, Kendall, and Cora. Tell him about Landry. Best to ask Ollie. She seems they drank together at the Salty Mast and Andra's gift. Also seems that no one else knew him well enough to miss him. One of his ears twitches. Kendall? Reported missing by Elka, a dwarf who carried traces of. He closes his eyes and sniffs the air. Fine wine and young dandies. Plenty of time and money to spend on her pleasures. Try Brackenbury. Okay, how about Cora? Oh, a benevolent trigger. Sister of Laura, one of the merchants in the Copperlane Bazaar. Not the kind of person who would just disappear, it seems. Laura's most distraught. I think a visit from someone sympathetic will raise her spirits. Did you find any leads? Not yet. No obvious connections between the victims, which is what makes me wonder so. He runs his head along the length of one ear. Could be animancy related. Researchers always need subjects, the less scrupulous types in particular. He pauses, deep in concentration. Seems too risky for the sanitarium, but one never knows. He waves a hand. Talk first to the people who reported our victims missing. Mayhap you will catch something I missed. Okay. I'll let you know when I find something. More stuff to do. I think I've already spent a couple hours in Defiance Bay by now. Which is actually quite interesting. Would have thought to stick around that long. But yeah, once again, this game is just filled to the brim. Okay, someone in this district here. Let's quickly check for the name again. Where was it? Not the hermit, the man who waits neither, not this one either. Is it a task? Missing sentries, Blade of the Endless Path, no. Where was that quest? Am I just not finding it right now? Ah, there they are, okay. So Elka, Spencer Time Brackenbury. Oh, there he is actually. No, I haven't seen this damn kennel person. Now hold on a minute, you barely...
Hail, traveler.
Let's intervene. This dwarven woman is dressed and perfumed like a member of the nobility, but her sun-reddened skin and sweat-stained outfit suggest that she's been out for quite some time. Afraid I don't have time just now. I'm investigating Kendall's disappearance, actually. Her eyebrows rise. That little Orland finally got serious about this case, eh? Danrid Row is strapped for resource at the moment, so Curran sent me. Well, I'm glad someone's on it. She rolls her eyes. Anyway, I'll tell you whatever I can. What do you need to know? Tell me about Kendall. What's to tell? He was a pretty young lad, not the brightest of the bunch, but always pleasant company. How do you know him? Elka smirks. We met up from time to time over the past few months. It was just a flirt. A fling, really. Wasn't going to last. She picks at one corner of her sleeve and looks away. He was a little fool, but a sweet little fool. What was Kendall doing before he disappeared? She laughs subtly, the worst blazing rendition of the general's speech from The Widow of the Wood that I've ever heard. She shakes her head. Love that fellow, but he was a tragic failure. Yet somehow he managed to get in with the actor troupe. When and where did you last speak to him? A week ago. He came back to my house for a bit of fun. Afterward we fell asleep, and when I woke up, he was gone. No note, nothing. Noticed anything different about him lately? He'd started hanging out with a bunch of actors. Seemed alright, except for that woman, she scolds. That one with her long, willowy legs and slender arms. Always came around wearing those low-cut dresses and impossible shoes. What was her name? Her expression hardens. I don't know. I never cared to learn it. She uncrosses her arms and lets them slowly fall to her sides. I didn't realize it might be important. Okay, that's all the questions I'm having right now. If you think of any more, you know where it'll be. Okay, so one down. Okay, let's go to Ondra's gift, find Oli. In the Salty Mastiff, I've seen it right? Good chance to check back there and see if something's changed. You never know. This district always takes a long time to load. Okay. Up we go. Into the brothel. Say hello to all the pretty ladies and boys. Okay, Oli, down here. The man is at the table by himself, but constantly glances at the opposite bench as if waiting for someone. He reeks of alcohol, and he moves with torpor of someone who's gotten used to spending most of his time drunk. This table's taken, find another. He spreads his elbows on the wood and pulls his drink between them. I've got questions about Landry. His face twists into a confused scrawl. What's it to you? Let's go with resolve. Landry was your friend. The least you can do is answer a few questions. Oli eyes you warily. Yeah, fine. You don't have to get your small claws in a knot about it. So, what does you want to know about Landry? Tell me about her. He spent most of the time here drinking with me. Tells you enough, doesn't it? He takes a gulp of his drink and shrugs. He didn't volunteer details and I didn't ask, but he had a working man's hands and a working man's taste for drink. When and where did you last see him? Right here, getting drinks with me. He slaps a spot on the bench. Just like we have every night for the last 5 years. I couldn't actually tell you much about him, and I think he preferred it that way. He frowns at the rough wood grain of the table. It's probably why we got on so well. Plenty of things we didn't talk about. Anyway, I remember that night because he said things were finally turning around. He was going to find a steady job, clean up, have another crack at the respectable life. I told him in that case he could buy the drinks. He traced the rim of his cup. That's when he showed up. When she showed up. Second place, my antivirus just popped up something. Okay, taken care of. Okay, so who's this woman you're talking about? A sly smile stretches across his face. A real fancy lady, name's Lumdella. He taps his head. I don't remember much these days, but I remember her. Usually you have to pay a month's copper to spend time with a woman like that, but Lumdella, he shakes his head. He was falling all over Landry that night, left with him too. Do you know where they went? A gruff laugh rattles his throat. She said they were going to see some frilly performance. If you ask me, they had their own plans to perform that night. He makes an obscene gesture and grins. She just said that he had to pick something up at her house in Copper Lane first. Some cozy little place by the northern gate. He picks up his cup. Even a drunk like me knows what that means. For what it's worth, she said she earns her coin over that amphitheater in Copper Lane. That's where they said they were going to see their show. Maybe someone there saw him. All I need to know, thanks. Right. Let me know if I find him, yeah? Because that bastard owes me a round if he's found a good life. Okay, there's a picture emerging. Who would have guessed? So, good choice to visit Copper Lane last for this quest. Or task. So let's get on with it. Can actually go out here. Need to go up here. Heritage Hill is restored. The city guards report the howling cataclysm stop tower has ceased. Yeah, you can thank me for that. Onward to Copper Lane. And there we need to look for, what's her name? Laura, a merchant. Could it be the merchant we've talked to before, outside of the city? With the ferry and all that? Let's find out. Nope, different one. There's Laura.
Hello.
Always good to see a familiar face. How can I help you? I'm looking into some disappearances. I hear that your sister's gone missing. Laura's voice drops to whisper. I didn't think anyone would help. When Cora disappeared, I tried Dunwood Row, the Crucible Knights, and even the dozens here. She points her thumb at the large building behind her. No one had the time to look for a missing girl then. She bites her lip. That was 3 weeks ago. If there's anything I can tell you that will help, just ask. Okay, tell me about her first. She's my younger sister. Always had her head full of dreams. She was convinced there was something special waiting for her, that she'd be remembered and happy and important. Laura shakes her head. She's got plenty of heart, but not the commitment to match. Still, when she got that theater job, I thought she was about to turn around. The picture becomes clearer. So what was Cora doing around the time she disappeared? She just gotten into this acting troupe called the Laura's Brow Knits. You know this. Concentrate. The Revel of Stars, that's it. She was pretty inexperienced. I think that's why she was so excited to get a role. I'm afraid I don't know anything else about it. When and where did you last see her? That was at her house, getting ready for a big performance. That was 3 weeks ago. Did you see Cora with anyone when she disappeared? She is very sociable. She's always enjoyed crowds. I'm afraid I can't narrow it down beyond that. All I need right now. Laura puts both her hands over her heart. You don't know how much this means to me. Just to know that someone's actually looking for her. Anything else I can do for you? Nope. Okay, let's go ahead and question her. I think she should be the woman out here. Lumdala, there we have her.
Gods keep you.
I really should spend this time getting into character. Okay. I'm looking for Kendall. Apparently he joined your group. No experience, terrible actor. Sounds familiar? She narrows her silvered eyes. I'm not sure who this Kendall is or why you would malign our talent, but rest assured that we have a process for evoking a satisfying performance from even the most inexperienced players. I suppose I can spare a few moments for a fan? Okay, a different guy, Oli, said his friend Landry was last seen with you. Ndala lets out a big laugh. Ha! That drunken Ondra's gift? Men flatter themselves when it comes to the attention of a beautiful woman. The Pallet Knight herself could waltz into a bar and he'd believe she was there to sit on his lap and listen to bawdy stories. Sagani turns to you, her eyes wide with mischief. That reminds me, have you heard the one about the fisher woman and the long-finned ice sucker? She glances around. Perhaps I should tell you another time. I trust his word more than yours. He has nothing to gain by lying. Her nose wrinkles. Nothing to gain but a little tavern hall administration. The men there compete with tales of conquest they can only dream of, but you clearly found this performance convincing enough. Okay, how about Cora? I can't say I recognize the name. She suddenly seems focused on the length of her fingernail. That's odd. Her sister said she was part of the Revel of Stars. Maybe, but what should I know about it? My work requires great focus and attention. She flicks her fingertips in frustration. I don't have time to coach every young amateur who joins our troupe for a week. Surely there's someone else you can ask about all this. I'm but an humble actor. Okay, lady, you're connected with 3 recent disappearances that you claim to know nothing about. Then what else do you expect from me to say on the subject? She sighs and turns her face to the sky. If you'll excuse me, I have a performance to attend to. The young man steps up next to you, his gaze fixed on the other actors, his voice low. Meet me in Lumdala's house, I know what's going on. He claps his hands and whistles at the other actors. Well done indeed. Okay, let's go to her then. Or rather, her place. But that's gonna have to wait until the next time, actually. We're already nearing the half-hour mark again. And yeah, oh, let's just quickly check that out while we're at it. Clerical errors. Toward the end of the Saints' War... Alright, that was the description. The Magranite relics that were missing. Nerea inquired around the Deerwood and found the hand of Saint Indrath in the new Hioma curio shop, the lock hair from Saint that one on a girl's doll in Lockholm, and the tears of Saint Baratia around the neck of a vicious mercenary in Rhodes End. The rebuilt Church of the Winding Flame was grateful for the return of all 3 relics, but during Nera's investigation, 2 high-ranking priests of Macron cast doubt on the patriotism of Saint Baratia. Using evidence from the original copy of her Vita, the priests generate enough criticism that the Church reluctantly turned away Saint Baratia's tears. Their loss was Nera's gain. Bunch of money, and we gain Holy Radiance and Healing Done bonus. I like that one. Yeah, I think someone will get that. We've also collected some taxes. Very good. So, once again, if you did have some fun in this episode, I certainly did, consider commenting, liking, or subscribing. I am happy for a little bit. You can also follow me on Twitter at _madletter. You can also just hit me up on Twitter or YouTube for whatever you want. I'm happy about every bit of commenting. Just feel free to hit me up. And yeah, on that note, I'm gonna end this episode. So thanks again for watching, and see you the next time.